Ripples on still water, when there is no pebbles tossed, no wind to blow. Bit of programming for you there from the Grateful Dead. An album, one of the best, I think, American Beauty, one of the best studio ones anyway. Now to me, I reckon Andrew Lloyd Webber has listened to that album, very likely, and has pinched the melody for that awful song that was sung by Jason Donovan in the early 90s, I think. Joseph and his Technicolor Dreamcoat, from that awful... I hate musicals. Sorry, not all musicals maybe, but all those stage production things. Oh dearie me. People flock to them, but I'm not one of those people. Anyway, well, what can I say about the things that have happened in the last couple of weeks? To me, thanks, Del. I mean, really. I think we have similarities, as in we don't want to become any, I know you got recognised and I saw that and I thought you really probably won't like that. And I haven't been recognised by strangers, but I would cringe and I'd run away and hide under a stone, like where I've been all my life actually. And it was only this, the realisation that we're not on a spinning ball, that made me do this. And I think that's the same with you, Del. So crack on. That's all I can say to you. You're doing great. And I've met many great people that you've had on, and you are an inspiration, as are people like Gav, who just, well, I don't have to say any more, surely. Yeah. Now it's been a day of two parts. The first part, wet and I don't like to use the word miserable, because it has to come. Without rain, we wouldn't live in a verdant, green, beautiful land. We'd be living in a desert. So when the rain comes, there's nothing you can do about it. You just have to make use of the time. The second half of the day, which I'm in now, it's 10 to 5 in the PM, has been quite good. I've been out, yes, digging, and steady progress. That's all you need to know about that for now. Now, I've been watching Pete and Peter over the last, for a long time, but they did concentrate on, they made me laugh actually. I like their style of humour. Sometimes they go a little too far for me, maybe, but I do like to laugh. Who doesn't? But what they've been doing recently is they've kind of exhausted the flat Earth subject, and they've got into analysing and breaking down what all the substances around us, what the scientists call, by the periodic table, I suppose, of dipping into that. And water is the most interesting. Well, it's not an element according to science. It's made of two elements, which are hydrogen and oxygen. However, they have raised some very interesting points, and I can't ignore them. They won't, they keep going around in my head, such as, how does water not have oxygen in it? You can oxygenate water, so you thought, by bubbling air through it. If you've ever kept fish in a tank, or where my pond, the water runs in it. It's not quite the same thing, but it is in a way, because water falling through the air supposedly oxygenates the water. So if there's no oxygen in the water, then what the hell is it? Hydrogen? I don't think so. Liquid hydrogen in a pool that creatures living. That cannot be. It cannot. So it's not, there are more lies, not just the massive one that we're not living on a spinning ball, obviously. And if you still think we do, then you are a cretin, having put forward all the evidence, all the proofs, actually, not the evidence, and you still believe in your cult, in your religion, the spinning ball religion. Well, you're wrong. But you're not just wrong about that. You're wrong, apparently, about a great many things. And it's fascinating to think that air and water are probably the same thing. And yes, there are other gases and elements in that, well, what would you call it? Like, it's almost like the ether, but it isn't. I don't think. But it's a solution, or a liquid, or a fluid. I think that's the word, isn't it? Both water and air are fluids, and other elements or gases or whatever dissolve or are in those, or in that fluid. So, and I try to tie it back into, why would they lie about that? What's the reason for the, is it something to do with, if we work that out, then we're closer to the, closer to unveiling the other nonsense? I don't really know. I have thought about it. I think about things like that a great deal when I'm doing mindless tasks, such as digging. As long as I'm digging where I should be digging, and not too deep or not too far to the left or to the right, then your mind is free to explore. Well, so Pete and Peter, I think you're doing a great job. Right or wrong, you are asking questions, and that is what science is all about. Real science, that is. Not made up bullshit pseudoscience where they just assume something and then on that assumption base loads more assumptions, and you end up with a house of cards that is falling down. And it's a realization by many people now across the world that we have been lied to, that is making it, and the questions that we are asking, that's making it fall down, which is fantastic. Okay, it's fantastic in a way, in a way that we should, we don't need any more lies. We don't need that. And we need to teach the younger generation real life, well, how to live, not how to work, how to think and how to decipher this place for themselves, I think. Give them the tools to do that with. I know that's always stressed on Beyond the Imaginary Curve, and it's the best message. So, so Merle, okay, you know, I'm not a professional musician, and you know, fast forward. I think that's my kettle boiling again. Excuse me. Lovely peppermint and nettle tea. Yeah, Pete and Peter have also been rubbishing the quite ridiculous treks to the South Pole, which doesn't exist. Probably. Well, if it does, it's not on a spinning ball, obviously. There might be something there. Well, there is something there, isn't there? There's a barber's pole for the tourists, but they didn't go there because that wouldn't be around back then. But I don't think they went anywhere. Like you imagine them, or if you've seen that film with John Mills, I think it is. Yeah, it was. There's no way it was like that. And so Pete and Peter have rubbished that expedition and the Amundsen one because it's nonsense. It's just like when you realise. I mean, okay, I already knew that nobody had gone to the moon, but I thought that one could go to the moon. But now I know you can't go to the moon, just like you can't go to the South Pole. So all these things were made up. Now, Sir Edmund Hillary, or Edmund Hillary, because I don't really, I don't, what's the word? If you've got an MBE or you've been awarded something by the Queen or the royal family, I don't recognise that, because to me, it's bullshit. They're parasites. You know, I don't think they're lizards, but they are parasites. So they're tapeworms, maybe. So anyway, Edmund Hillary, when he went, he conquered Everest. Well, the Sherpas probably helped more than. Anyway, he was the first person apparently to be up there. Certainly the first British person. But if you're aware, I don't know if you are aware, but these days there can be 600 people per day tramping. I don't know whether they actually go right to the top, but they certainly go to base camp and then continue from there. And a friend was reading me an article and said that they don't know what to do with all the shit, all the excrement, because of course it doesn't ever go away. It just freezes because it's never above freezing. So it freezes and there is a big pile of shit there now. So will it add to Everest? Will the humans, eventually climb that mountain of shit? You know, I've never felt the urge to climb Everest. I like the idea of climbing a mountain. I've been up Snowdon, not all the way to the top, but kind of just because I had to go from one point to the other on foot, and and I went sort of around the side of Snowdon, which was great, but I didn't have the urge to climb to the top. I'll have to stop now because my time's up. So see you later, peeps.